Hi. First of all, I wanted to thank Google for the opportunity to share a little bit more about Viki's story and kind of building a company here based out of Singapore. For those of you who don't know much about Viki, we are building the online destination for premium primetime entertainment content. So this is the best of movies, music, entertainment news, TV shows. And what we think makes Viki special or very different is our community of fans actually crowdsource translates our content into over 160 languages. So you can watch your favorite TV show in English, Spanish, Chinese, Portuguese, Romanian, whatever language you really want. So Viki was actually built and headquartered out here in Singapore. And I'll take you through a little bit of our journey and some of the things that we thought were really positive and some of the challenges being based here in Singapore. We were literally started out of hackerspace down on Arab Street. So that's where kind of the original Viki was being built out of there. And then we raised the Series A round of financing from investors in Silicon Valley, like Greylock, Andreessen Horowitz, Charles Rivers Ventures. We raised a Series B from strategic investors in Asia, and then we ultimately were acquired recently by the Japanese e-commerce giant Rakuten as part of the next phase of growth for us. So as we kind of look back on our path and our journey here growing Viki, a couple of things stand out from the positive side. I think the thing we talked about a little bit already or touched upon it was there's really a great infrastructure here in Singapore. So if you're looking to start a company, everything's kind of available. There's connectivity is abundantly available, high-speed internet connectivity is everywhere. Office space, you can find office space anywhere. You can literally be up and running in 24 hours if you want to be. In business now, you always have to travel. You're always kind of flying. There's direct flights everywhere. The airport's incredibly convenient. So from a setting up perspective and kind of removing a lot of the administrative headaches of building a business, Singapore is great for all of those things. As we look at the second piece, there's also a growing community of kind of entrepreneurs and startups. I think when we first started in Singapore, there wasn't a lot of kind of, I would say, startups that are doing kind of tech type of things and maybe more of infrastructure type things. And what we're seeing now is we're seeing this kind of growing community of startups out there. We've even had a couple people coming out of Viki who have left to build their own companies, and we're really excited to see where they're going to go and what they're going to build as they keep going over there. And then the third piece, I think that's been really valuable for us here is government support. So that's everything from low tax corporate tax rates are very low, personal tax rates are very low. It makes it a lot easier for us to go out and recruit new employees and people like that. And at the same time, there's also a lot of the government grants I think were just touched upon. One of the big things or one of the big advantages we had at Viki is we had a large IDA grant where it was a great process for us. We sat down together with the IDA. We went over our objectives of what did we want to build, what we're going to create, and we came together for a certain set of milestones. And over time, it's been a great process, and it was really helpful for us in terms of taking non-dilutive financing, so getting government grants to help us grow the overall business. So that was a great experience for us, and it continues to be a great experience for us. But as we kind of look out on those things, at the same time, we also think about some of the challenges that we went through in terms of, so it's a great infrastructure for getting yourself set up and running a business, but there are some challenges that are kind of more unique to this area and this region. So for us, kind of everything I said really is based on the assumption that you already have financing in place. I think if you're out there trying to raise your first round of financing, this can be a difficult market or a trickier market. There's plenty of options out there if you're trying to raise kind of seed or angel money. So if you have an idea and you just want to get started and you want to come a proof of a concept out there's a lot of options. There's professional investors, there's a lot of these different government grants out there. I think if you're a big company and you're trying to raise additional capital, so your Series C or your Series D round, there's a lot of options out there for you. But if you're a company and you're trying to raise your first big professional round and you're trying to build that business and grow from there and say, hey, I want to raise my Series A, I think there's a limited number of options out there for you. I think there aren't that many kind of early stage venture capital firms out here. And most of the firms out here, I would say, are also much more focused on proven business models. So if you have something that's very unique and very different, I think you're going to have to look outside of this region for financing. I would say definitely explore the options here, but you're going to have to be willing to travel, go to the US, maybe go to Europe to raise that financing round. I think the other thing a lot of people talk about is obviously hiring the right set of people out here. Everywhere in the world it's hard to find engineers, but in Singapore I think the unemployment rate for engineers is literally 1% to 2%, so it's very, very hard to find engineers out here. And then the other group that's kind of hard to find is creative folks. So if you're looking for kind of UI, UX, user interface, a lot of design type folks, I think that's something that maybe isn't as available in Singapore. And a lot of those folks have non-traditional backgrounds, so they don't have 4-year degrees and things like that. So getting them into Singapore is definitely a real challenge. So if you're trying to do something innovative or different and creative, it's hard to find those people here in Singapore. And then finally, I think one of the biggest tools that kind of all startups have as ability to attract and acquire talent and hire and retain employees is stock options. And what we found out here is, for the most part, people in this region don't really find stock options to be a big incentive. If you go to the US or you go to Europe, everyone's really focused around stock options out here. While everyone here is focused really on salary, and we've literally had to convince some of our employees that, hey, please take stock in the company. This could be valuable. This could be important for you. And so it makes it difficult for startups to have to compete with some of the big companies for talent, because without equity being valued, it becomes a very difficult path. So I think if you think about building a company out here, there's a lot of great infrastructure. Getting set up is really, really easy. It's kind of very easy to do. But just be aware that when it comes to finding the right talent and retaining that talent, you got to look a little bit harder than you do in some other markets. So that was part of our experience. And finally, I would say, since we're talking about kind of talent and retaining talent and hiring people, we're always looking to hire out here. So if you have anybody that's interested in joining Viki, please let us know.